Hello, Gareth here, and I'm just going to show you how to warm up for this video lesson by practicing painting this particular fir tree. So this one is difficult because we're going to flick the brush, and because you're going to flick the brush, it's difficult to keep control over the shape and over the size of the flick. Sometimes you flick it too far and then you have to make the whole fir tree bigger. So if you make a mistake with this, don't worry, it's difficult. So that's why we're doing this warm up. So let's begin. First of all, you do this. We're going to have the top point here and the bottom point here. That's very important because it will stop you making it bigger and bigger and bigger. You know how big it's going to be. And then we just roughly join them. And then we're going to start flicking this, but I'm going to use a bit of kitchen roll to get rid of the excess water. Okay, here we go. Now that's okay. At first just a gentle flick, but as we go down, more of a bigger flick. And then let's do the other side. So I need a bit more paint now. And I'm actually using my left hand just so that you can see what I'm doing, but you will use your right hand probably, which I would normally do as well. And there we go, it's like that. And we might even try and flick it up a bit, and that's where it's really dangerous, where it can go wrong very easily. So it's a bit like that. And then we do a little bit of shadow, so add a bit more water, and let's do a shadow here. It's always good to practice these shadows because you will probably paint them in the final picture, and so the more practice, the more chance of getting it right. So I'm not too happy with that one, so let's have another go. This is a bit too dry here, so here we go again. This is going to be my top point, coming down to about here. And another good thing is, if you can, leave little white gaps like this rather than making it a solid shape, because the little white gaps look more interesting. Just a few of them. Now that looks good. That looks much better. I hope you can see that than that. That's the kind of effect we're trying to achieve. I went over one of my little white gaps, but there you go. And there, that's where it can sometimes come out too far, and then your tree starts to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So there we go, and maybe a flick up, just a tiny bit, that will do. You have to be so careful there, it's deadly, so easy to go wrong. And then a bit of a shadow, and that one is nice looking. So what we're doing here is we're just trying to train ourselves to paint a good fir tree, and it might not work when you do the final painting because you get a bit nervous or just a bit unlucky, but the more you do these kind of warm-up sessions like this, then the more chance you have of success. I think I'm trying to convince myself there as well. Here we go. Yeah, that one is not too bad either. And let's have a bit of shadow there. And of course, while you're doing this, you can, let's not waste the paper. We can do little things like a little bit of grass here, just a minute. Here we go. Bring the hairs together and like that. You see, this is a good time to just experiment and just try things out, because you'll often find when you're doing things like this warm-up exercise that you might have an idea, and it's a good time to try your idea out and see what happens. It's often when I'm messing around that I discover something and use that to make a new painting. So here we go. This is a bit too wet. I can feel that. It's probably a good idea to have scrap paper and just to do a stroke on the scrap paper to see just how wet or dry your brush is. So let's see if I can leave a few more gaps like that in this one. Yeah, so that's more exciting. Oh, I quite like this. Yeah, I'm using the thin bit here just to make it look a bit more irregular and natural. There, now that is great. I love that. Now that really looks like a fantastic fir tree. Do a shadow, and shall we have just a thin shadow like that this time? So that's the thing, always changing things and experimenting to see what happens, and that's how you learn and get better. There we go. So now you have a go as well, please. And as you can see, each one is a tiny bit different, and I think this one with the little gaps in it is my favorite, but this one is also very good. Okay, so please have a go and let me know in the comments how you got on. Bye for now.